Okay, so now the session is being recorded. Once again, thank you for attending this. We called it the Kiyosaki's Tip of Decade Emergency Webinar. And the reason why we have this webinar tonight in such a short notice is thank you. So thank you, IP. Thank you for appreciating this. You have to thank, before I start, why don't we just all thank Vertex Mastery for creating this space, because it is really short notice. The team is working around the clock just to make this happen. Okay, let's all thank him for that. Okay, so coming back, the reason why we are doing this webinar, called emergency webinar, is because David Chua, your teacher in Video Hero, is currently in Hua Hin. Hua Hin is a place in Thailand. It's not even Bangkok. It's 3 hours away from Bangkok, as far as I know. He's doing a 5-day training with Blair Singer. If you do not know who is Blair Singer is the rich dad advisor of Robert Kiyosaki. Okay, he's rich dad of Robert Kiyosaki. He's rich dad advisor of Robert Kiyosaki, and he is in charge of sales and team development. So currently, Blair is training David plus another 31 participants in Hua Hin, Thailand. So I just talked to David maybe just 5 minutes ago. He's having dinner right now, and after dinner, he will then have another session with Blair. Okay, so I'll be taking over this webinar on his behalf. Once again, I would like to thank you for every one of you who show up. You know what? One thing I really have to give credit to all of you is the fact that you show up. And it's not easy to take into account the fact that we give you such a short notice of time. Many people would say one thing: I don't have enough time to entertain you. And some people, we have sent the notice, they have actually left the group. They don't want us to bombard them anymore. So whatever it is, I really want to thank you for showing up, and I appreciate that. Okay, so the title of this webinar is called Kiyosaki's Tip of Decade. So how many of you realize that 2019 is just like with a blink of eyes is about to be over? It's like today we're talking about 13 November. It's just less than 1.5 months time, 2019 is gone. And we start talking about 2020. In fact, some of you may be thinking of planning your goals for 2020. So that's the reason why one of the questions in the questionnaire, we ask you to pen down what's your goal, what's your main goal you want to achieve in 2020. So I just want to go through some of these goals because you may not see all of them I have. So the goals that I was given would be to achieve $200,000 revenue monthly, recruit more quality customers. How many of you would like to have more quality customers? Make the money you want. Write a new book, establish my brand, and find new clients. So you see, finding new clients is a common thing. And then next one, more money for charity. How many of you would love to actually have good cause, have the money so that you can contribute to non-profit organization or even charity? Achieve $5,000 a month, which is 22,000 ringgit in Malaysia a month. Getting real quality leads. So you see, getting leads again shows up. Who are interested in his product or business concept. Convert these leads into customers after presentation. To convert the prospects into customers. And you may want to write down one word called client. Some people actually call client as customers who bought from you more than one time. How many of you would love to have more clients? And these clients are coming back again and again and again to buy from you. All right? So then we have got build a passive income stream so that you can earn, you can get more leads to survive. And this is something I love, to be profitable. I mean, business obviously is meant to make profits. It's not a case of having a charity work. You do all the work, you survive, you're sustaining, hoping every single day you have got bills to pay. You have got something called like, okay, that's the end of the day. What is my challenge of tomorrow? Because doing business is not supposed to be like struggling. But then what we have seen is that the struggles that we have gotten from some of you who reply, you notice that this is what happened. It's quite amazing to see. Lack of leads. So you want more leads, but you don't have the leads. You want more sales, you want more customers, but you don't know how to convert the leads into customers. And some of you, because the customers actually throw you an objection, so the struggle is to convert sales and handling objection. How many of you don't know how to handle objections when the objections could be, I don't have money, is actually BS. I don't have the time, which is also BS. And I got some very interesting objections, such as, well, I've got to think about it. I personally get this quite a few times. I think about it. So what does it mean? So how do you handle the objection? We have got somebody who said that I have to identify my niche, or niche in North America. I have to identify my niche because I don't know who I am supposed to target. I want to build my team. I want to attract the right partners in time to help them so that they can help me to produce more results, and I can assist my partners to achieve their personal and financial objectives. So I've heard common things will be, one, let me just summarize. Number one, getting leads. Number two, getting clients or convert the leads into clients. Number three, lack of tools or techniques of how to do it. And then number four is how to build a team, how to scale your business. Because notice one thing, you might want to write this down. If you do not have any means to scale your business, it is because you don't have a team. Without a team, you can't scale businesses. You will forever be working in your company, your business, forever. So instead of you get a job from other people, you actually get a job for yourself and you work on it maybe 24/7, 365. You have no time off. You can't go off for holiday for whatever reason. Okay? So I want to actually share with you tonight with what Blair Singer, again, Rich Dad Advisor for Robert Kiyosaki, share with David one thing. And I'm going to elaborate this for all of you. Tonight, the one thing that you want to learn is what is the gem. Okay, so pause for a while. You may want to write this down. Gem. What is gem? Is that the gems of this webinar? Yes, because this actually, for the purpose of this emergency webinar, is actually an acronym. How many of you know what's acronym? Acronym means that each of this letter represents one concept. So for the next half an hour, I will quickly go through what it means. I'll bring out some of the lessons that David has learned from Blair. And for those who have not seen me before, you have seen David because David is literally your lead trainer of Video Hero. Some of you may be from Singapore, you have not seen me before. My name is Jack Wong. I'm the close business partner of David Tra. I'm also the co-trainer for Video Hero. So you may have seen me, you may not have seen me, it's okay. All I'm doing tonight, I'm not doing this webinar by myself because it is my webinar. All I'm doing is to bring up what Blair has taught to David about the tips of the decade. And my job tonight is simply just to reiterate the message. Title, what's the gem? G-E-M. Okay? So listen carefully. The first thing that I would like to talk about is what's the G? What does the G stand for? How many of you are thinking of making a rocking business in 2020 so that your result in 2019, okay, which should be better than 2018, when you compare this with 2020, which is next year, your 2020 result will be way above and beyond your results in 2019. So if you want that to happen, the first thing you need to know is the word G. G stands for goals. Now, the question is this. How many of you have done any training before about learning how to set your goals? You can just comment why if you have done this before. So I want this webinar to be interactive, so you can actually go to the chat. And how do you go to the chat? If you have not used Zoom before, you can see chat at the bottom of your screen. It's on the right-hand side, you see the word chat. So you can press the button, you will see a box open up. And then all you need to do is to just type yes, Y, or letter Y, meaning yes, that you have done any kind of goal setting training before. Okay, I want to see some of feedback. So I do not want you to just like listen to this. It's not meant to be one-way dialogue. I can't hear your voice. I want to see your chat. So thank you. So you see a lot of people actually have yes, 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 yes. Awesome. And by the way, every one of you can see the comments from other people. All right. So here's the one thing I want to tell you. The thing is that having a goal is not enough. How many of you have heard me say before, or may have heard of Tony Robbins said before, that clarity leads to power? Clarity leads to power. Comment a yes if you have heard of it. Comment a no if you have not heard of this before. Clarity leads to power. Okay, some of you have not heard of this before. Some of you could well be a student of Tony Robbins, UPW, so you have heard that clarity leads to power. So if you have been following my work, and if you have heard me say this in Video Hero, particularly in Kuala Lumpur, the last 2 rounds, I said that clarity doesn't lead to power. What does power mean to you? Nothing. Because what if you become a powerful person? You have the power to conquer the world. Clarity does not equal power. In fact, clarity, in my opinion, actually should give you the action, step. Many of you have come up with the goals. If I think that what you have said earlier on is you have been through all the goal setting training, you know how to set your goal. My question for you is this: do you know what actions you have to take? Do you know what actions you have to take? That is the key. So you can say that, wow, you know what? Next year I want to grow my business to make it to a $200,000 a year. Question: how do you make it happen? So the goal is what we call the end point. This is where you are right now. The question is that how do you get from your current state to $200,000? Well, you might say, yeah, I know how to do it. Yeah, question is that how do you know? What specific steps or what specific action steps you have to take? So when Blair shares with David about something called goal setting, one thing that is really quite epiphany to quite a lot of people is that we are not anyhow setting goals. In fact, our goals might be precise, because some of you may have heard of this rule called the SMART goal setting process. SMART. How many of you have heard of this SMART goal setting process before? Comment a yes. If you don't, awesome, because I do not want you to confuse with what I'm going to say. Okay, if you have not heard of this before, SMART goal doesn't really work. Why? Because SMART goal, from my experience working with thousands of people on goal setting, and I am subject to Blair Singer's process, by the way, just to let you know that I'm a certified trainer of Blair Singer's Training Academy. So I know Blair's process pretty well as well. So one thing I remember what Blair says, and basically this is the key, that what the goals that you set using a SMART goal setting process is a result of you being what we call the logical mind. You are using your logic to rationalize your goals. So the question is that what Blair has said, and this is actually not from Blair himself, but from Blair Singer's teacher, Matt Newton. If you like to Google, you would like to find out who is Matt Newton, you can go to the chat right now. I just typed the name Matt Newton. You can go to mattnewton.com. He's actually the teacher of Blair Singer. So this part, what Matt has said is this. He said that when we set the goals, so I got to mute all of you because I hear some background noise. So for the purpose of the recording, I will mute every one of you. Okay, so let's continue. What Matt Newton has said is this. He said that why we cannot achieve what we want is because the goals that we have set for ourselves is what we want logically. But the question is that, is it what your spirit, your unconscious mind, your gut, whatever you call it, really want? So sometimes you might say that I want to do this logically, but is that really what you want from the bottom of your heart? So when you have a body, spiritual, and physical alignment, there is how you can get your goal easily and effortlessly. However, when you do not have that luxury, when you just go through the SMART goal setting process, this is what I see, because I have done this myself. I said that while it's very cool to actually write a book, and I actually did that. I actually did that in 2015. I was a published author then. But before that, I actually have this goal to write a book. I even went to declare to my group and say that I'll be a published author. I think I did that in 2010. I didn't live up to my promise because it was a cool idea to become an author. But is that really what I want from the bottom of my heart? So the question is therefore, when what you think is not what you feel, there is a misalignment. That's where your goals becomes just saying only. It's good to have, but it's not deep down what you really want. So the first thing Blair has said is that when you set a goal, it is very important to understand that when you set it, is it just logically what you want, or is it what you really want from the bottom of your heart? So we have a process to help us. Some of the participants here have been gone through my process of goal setting, so they know what I'm talking about. But if you don't, I'm not supposed to talk about this tonight because I'm the messenger. So I just want to let you know that perhaps you may want to explore other goal setting process. And one of the powerful goal setting process I learned personally will be from Blair's teacher, Matt Newton. We call this the champion goal setting process. The idea of that is basically to have what you think and how you feel it, to have this alignment, so that what you want to achieve is really what you feel like achieving. So that's the key. So that's why when you have this clarity of that goal, you will have the ability to take action. It's no longer like you need people to push you. You can actually do it by yourself. Listen to something when we want to consider something. So this is my tip, not Blair who has talked to David about this. It's my tip. My tip is that how many of you have heard of something called vision board? Comment below. Vision board. Okay, so thank you for that. So most of you have actually found out or have been have gone through the actually knows what is a vision board. The question is that what does your vision board have? So this is very important. I teach my student on vision board to have only 3 things. Why? Because our human mind can only take care of 1 to 3 things, not more than that. So some vision boards which are not done according to my standard would contain pictures that is blurred, not clear. Some of the vision board I've seen have inspirational quotes. It's just like a quote that motivates people. So I'd like you to remember, to recall, if you have watched this movie before, how many of you have watched a movie called Aladdin? The 2019 version, or the version that you have watched, perhaps if you are my age, 20 years ago, Aladdin. So the Will Smith being the genie actually asked Aladdin, thank you. Which movie? Aladdin, A-L-A-D-D-I-N, Aladdin. Aladdin, if you understand Cantonese. Aladdin, if you understand Mandarin. Okay, Aladdin. So Aladdin is the movie whereby genie has granted 3 wishes to Aladdin because Aladdin was able to retrieve or relocate the oil lamp. Okay, the thing is this: when genie asked Aladdin, so master, please state your first wish. Aladdin, not being clear with what he wants, couldn't express or articulate. So if you cannot listen to what I'm saying, log out and come back. So Jake, can you help me to give the user a prompt? Because everybody can hear this. All right, so what happened is that back to the movie Aladdin, Aladdin was not able to articulate the goals. As a result, genie cannot deliver the wish. So in goal setting process is the same. In the vision board setting process is the same. If you cannot tell genie, who has a chance to see your board, what exactly you want, then genie cannot get what you want. So on your vision board, if you want to, when you want to get a car, you want to make sure that you know exactly what is the make, the model, the color, the years of manufacture. You want to put this precisely in your vision board. If you want to get a house, what types of house? Is that condominium? Is that a landed property? Which area? And what exactly it looks like? So picture this, and picture this is in your mind, but you want to find the picture that's closest to the dream house you want, so that you put this on your vision board. So therefore, that becomes pretty clear. Okay? So you just need on your vision board 3 things. Exactly, precisely, and concisely the pictures, so that every single day when you start moving towards your goal, you know what? These are the things that Jeannie, please help me. I am going to get this goal. Jeannie, please help me. Because when you know what you want, when you're clear with what you want, you will then have the ability and the burning desire to take more action. How many of you agree that this is pretty interesting stuff? I won't say it's powerful until you have witnessed, experienced the process. How many of you have heard of a phrase, experience is the best teacher? Experience is the best teacher. Yes, yes, yes. Okay? If you hear experience the best teacher, the answer is incorrect. It's wrong. Because experience is the only teacher. I'll say it again. Experience is not the best teacher. Experience is the only teacher. So whatever I've said it before, whatever I've said about having the idea of putting up the vision board, and if you are not able to get what you want, it's because of the lack of clarity. It's a pretty cool stuff. And then you say, wow, I don't know whether it's cool, it's powerful. Yeah, I agree. Because until you have experienced the process, okay, then it's just what I'm giving you as information. Okay? So now the next question is this. When you now know that clarity is important, so question that all the struggles or the issues that you are facing or the goals that you are looking at, the question is that, are you clear with how or the method behind to help you achieve the goal? When you say you want to get more customers, how many customers do you want for 2020? How many leads do you want to generate in 2020? By the way, let's say you talk about a $200,000 revenue as an annual target. What does it mean by how many customers you need? What's the conversion ratio? How many leads do you need in order to sustain or to come up with those numbers of customers? So that when you know your goals and it is very clear, all you need to do is to work backwards. My teacher actually taught me a very simple formula called how you make a $1 million a year. So the $1 million method basically is just to work backwards. So 1 million divided by 52 weeks. So you know every week you need to make that amount. So once you know you have to make that amount, then question is that what must you do in your business to help you to get that? So it's very simple thought process. Basically just to work backwards. Otherwise, it's like the blind leads the blind. I want to make that amount, but I don't know how. I just reverse engineer the process. Now you know. But the question is that, is $200,000 enough? Is it really what you want? How about 500,000? How about 1 million? So you've got to be clear with that number. Ask yourself, what does $200,000 get you? That's the key. All right. Now, next thing I want to talk about is the second word. So GEM, once again, for those who just show up, the first G is talking about goal. So what is E? E is basically about environment. So let me ask you a question. What is environment? Anyone? What is environment? Sort of like in Cantonese, 環境, Mandarin, 環境. What is environment actually? Okay, you can comment if you want to. So here's one thing. Here's one thing I know. Also, okay, I've seen that one user actually said, now he can hear what I said. Environment is what you're surrounding with. Good, awesome. May I share with you what Blair has talked about? Blair actually taught David that you can learn all the skills under the planet, on the planet. Okay, you can learn everything. The question is this. The question is that there's one thing that will stop you. There's one thing that will stop you from achieving what you want. So it's like, this is where you are, this is where you want to be, right? So the distance between where you are and where you want to be can be very, very short. Can be very short. So the question is that, what is the distance between where you are and where you want to be? What exactly am I talking about? So what Blair has talked to David about is that the environment, the context. So you may have seen in Video Hero, whether it's a preview, whether it's the agile training, David talked about the context. Context is more important than the content. So this could be just a revision. If you have been to David's training before, if you haven't, then let me go through this. So what is the context, which is more important than content? Context is the surrounding that you have. Are you associating with people who are like-minded? Are you doing this by yourself? Are you working with other people together who have the same vision, same goals, same mission, same reasons of why you do what you do? So do you have people who can support you? And most importantly, do you have people who will call you out? Who will call you out when you are not delivering your promise? Do you have that environment that is supporting you? So if you've been to the Video Hero process, you know basically the 3 days what David has done is to set the context so that you make money by posting video out. And how many of you actually have that experience? You may want to comment, because in this room, there are people who have not been to Video Hero before. If you are a Video Hero graduate, comment a Y, letter Y, and say, yes, I make money in that 3 days, so that we can prove to others that this is the context that we have built, right? So thank you for that. Awesome, awesome, thank you. Now, there's another layer of environment which you may not be aware. So I would like to share my screen. I hope that I'm able to do this, because this is what happened. I want to show you this chart. I don't know whether you see something called a snapshot of an environment. Okay, so the snapshot of an environment. Now, here's the thing. I am not able to, I don't think I'm able to see the comments from you guys unless I have got, oh, okay, I can see the comment, good. So I do know how to do it, awesome. So this is something that I personally have learned. We call this the 9 environments. Now, the thing is this, what is 9 environments? You know that most people actually talk about environment as the physical environment. So physical environment is just one of the 9 environments that we live in. So some of these things you may not have come across, don't worry, you can just Google 9 environments. Okay, you Google 9 environments, you will see this chart. There's actually there are a lot of articles talking about this. So as a bonus, I would love to give it to you, because this is how I teach my clients as well. So the 9 environments could well be, number 1, your physical environment. How does your table look like? I mean, is a table, is the office messy? Or is it tidy? Is that clean? So this is the one which I believe a lot of people can relate. So the next one you may want to work on is your body environment. What is the body environment? Are you overweight? Are you underweight? Are you eating healthily? Do you do your regular exercise? Because notice one thing, your physicalities can affect other aspects of you, which means that you will affect the results that you want to achieve. So let's say, for example, David right now, David is in Hua Hin, and what happened is that in that program, 5 days, David has to eat what Blair is asking him to eat. So I just give you some flavor of what he's going through. It was very painful for him yesterday when he shared this with me. He said, how come my food has no sugar, has no salt, has no seasoning at all? He said, imagine a juicy, sizzling steak, but it's actually tastes totally plain. How many of you can relate to that? It's like a steak which looks very nice, but put into your mouth, it's like there's no taste. This is what David is going through right now. No coffee, no tea. Every single morning has to drink a particular formula, which when David comes back, I will ask him to share. So this is what he's going through. 5 days, 4 meals a day. So there are 20 meals of this sort for him in the 5 days. So I haven't talked to him after the dinner. So later I will ask him how is the dinner tonight? Because he was complaining last night about the dinner. I said, well, That's why you end up in that program, because that is what I personally have gone through in that program in 2016 in Phoenix, Arizona. Okay, so this 9 environment, the body. How about your self-environment? What is self-environment? Your self-environment talks about what are the things that you have to do to help yourself, to help you develop yourself. Basically, self-growth. Do you read books? How many books do you read? What are the books that you read? Do you read any magazine? Do you read any journals? Do you read any things on internet? Do you upgrade constantly? So that's the self-environment. Another one was pretty cool. We call it the relationship environment. So what is relationship environment? Relationship environment talks about your dealing, your relationship with your loved ones. Because if you are a husband or you are a wife and you are doing this business by yourself, is your husband supporting you? Is your wife supporting you? Are your children, if you have children, are they supporting you? Do you know what, do they understand what you're doing? What is the relationship environment? Do you have a communication channel so that when you feel stressed one day, your loved ones can understand you? And when you have celebration of success, your loved ones are there to celebrate together with you. So you may want to actually Google 9 environment as my gift, and you will see the power of this. All I'm asking you to do is, at the end, remember one thing: you are not going to work on the 9 environment at the same time, because you only have 24 hours. So after you understand the 9 environments, all you need to do is to choose one, perhaps 2 environments you work with first. So most people, about 75% of people, will work on the physical environment. Maybe the table need a little bit tidy up. Maybe the books, I need to put them on the shelf properly. Maybe the pens and paper are a bit messy. I want to line them up. I want to put them in the proper order. Maybe my cables, my wires are everywhere. Let me tidy up. When you have a better environment serving you, suddenly you will feel the energy for you to be pumping up every single day to do whatever you have to do. So on one hand, we have the goals, which gives you not the power, but the action, because when you are clear with what you want, you can do what you want. It's the environment here supporting you. So that's why Blair insists that context is important than content. So I stop the screen share, I come back to where I am right now. So context is more important than content. So what in the business world, what do I mean by that? So Blair, Blair actually loves this quote. He said that the way we teach is more important than what we teach. So therefore, in the context of Video Hero, you'll notice that the content is there. You can actually teach the same content. But why would we be able to create the results over the 3 days? Why are we able to do that? It's the context, it's the way we set up each activity, the way we set up the sequence of the events, the sequence of the teaching lessons, the way we ask you to do things. Like every single piece in that 3 days program is carefully designed so that we help you to create that environment that push you, to ask you to go out, to post the videos so that you can get your sales. Imagine we ask you to post your video at your own time, at your own pace. You can actually take your time to do it. What you need is just to come for 3 days to learn the skill sets. Done. At 6 o'clock, we say goodbye. We'll see you tomorrow morning. How many of you suspect that if you are given that kind of environment, you will not be able to generate the results that you will have otherwise gotten when we put you through that pressure? Because one thing you know is that when we have the context set up properly, what happens is that we can turn on the heat a little bit. When we say we turn on the heat, some of you will feel the fear. Some of you will feel the pressure because other people are doing this. If I don't do it myself, then I will be screwing up. You are under pressure because we do the turning up the heat in that environment that is safe, because everyone is going through the process and nobody is allowed to leave the program until the program is done. We finish what we start. So once again, you may notice that that is the context that we have built for Video Hero. For Blair's other program, what Blair does is the same thing. He actually set the context in such a way that you are not just going through the program by learning. You will have activities. you have some lessons, realizations to come up with, and then you'll be put some intense pressure. And at the end of the day, you realize that these processes are something that you would want, not in the event itself, because during the event, you won't like it. Like what David has told me, he wanted to leave the training that he has gotten yesterday. He told me, I said, dude, you are saying the same thing that I did in 2016, because when I went for that 5-day training, after day one, I also want to leave because I wouldn't want to be there. But you know what? The magic happens along the way, and you begin to love the journey. From very pressurizing to now being pleasurizing. From being under pressure by now having the pleasure to continue staying, and then you start seeing the results. So once again, the E stands for environment. This is very important. You must understand your context is important than your content. You can learn, like for example, some people list down their goals, their problems, their challenges are not getting the leads. You can go for another program, learning how to generate leads. You can go for, there's so many people out there teaching you how to run Facebook ads. There's so many people out there teaching you how to run social media campaign. Because the objective of Facebook ads, social media campaign is to generate leads. The question is that learning the technique, but without the proper context, the environment that can support you, can push you in an appropriate level, would that work? So most trainings that I personally come across, they just teach you the skill set, but they don't really go through the mindset, the personal development, which is the reason why this program will just transfer the skill, and at the end of the day, what happens is this. You learn the skill, but you will not do it. How many of you have been to a process of something similar before, where you attend a training, another training, another training, and eventually do nothing? The question is that why is that so? Why have you gone through a training and you do nothing? Because here's one thing I know. There's no environment that can support you. But you say, Uncle Jack, I'm a very diligent person. I have very strong willpower. I can conquer the world. Are you kidding me? You think that the tsunami you think that tsunami, the nature, you can overtake the nature? You think that the typhoon, the tsunami can be overtaken? There's something called the nature. The nature, which is where the environment is set up. No matter what, you can't conquer the environment. Because when you're back to the real world, when now you are mixing with people, we call them the crabs. Why crabs? Because they love you, but they want you not to advance. They want you to stay at where you were previously, so that they can be with you together. The crabs, the environment, the shuffle holders, whatever you call this, they are not there to support you. So when you are back to the real world, this is the problem. So then in your mind, you say, okay, it is time for me to go for another program. Maybe this program doesn't work. Maybe that program doesn't work. Let me shop around for another program. Perhaps that program will give me the defined moment. That one opportunity then give me all the money that I need. How many of you have heard of this phrase called shiny object syndrome? If you do, comment a yes below. Shiny object syndrome. Or another phrase for that is called opportunity seekers. S-E-E-K-E-R-S. Opportunity seekers. What does an opportunity seeker do? Seek opportunity again, again, and again. I've just been to Kuala Lumpur a month ago. I've got someone who told me, you know what? I love to learn a lot of things. I say, good, you love to learn, awesome. This is a very good attitude. My question is that, so did you implement anything? He said, no. Then I asked him, so why did you go for training then? Because I love to learn. No, you don't get my point. Why do you go for training? Because when you spend money to invest your time to learn something, you've got to implement, isn't it? He said, but I do not know how to implement. Because when I come back to the real world, he said, I don't know what to do. So I asked, like, wouldn't be anyone in that program support you? No. Okay, that's the problem. No wonder. I've just had one conversation a week ago from someone from Philippines. I was having this conversation with that person. Of course, that conversation is another classic example. That guy actually has signed up for 1 course, 2 courses, 3 courses, 4 courses, 5 courses. Whenever there's something called multiple speakers pitch, the person literally buys everybody's program. So I was very amazed because he said to me that he has signed up for 1 program from Peng Joon, your countryman from Malaysia, 8-figure millionaire on internet marketing. Okay, that's cool. Then he said he has bought another program teaching him how to build a champion team. And I asked, what is it going to do with Peng Joon's internet marketing? Because you have bought a course that is about building a team, and then you bought a course that is about internet marketing. What is the synergy between both? I can't see that. He's very frank, and he told me, you know what, I'm a seminar junkie. He admitted that he is a seminar junkie. The problem that he has as a seminar junkie is he spent a lot of money buying different courses, but at the end, he's just collecting the information. And I asked him, do you apply anything? The answer, as you can tell, no. So no wonder we have heard people, like personally, I've heard multiple stories about we being seminar junkies. I used to be a seminar junkie too, so I can say we are seminar junkie. We went to other courses, paid the seminar organizers a lot of money. Eventually, we make the seminar organizers rich, and we go broke. Not me. I will actually implement. Those people who didn't implement, they actually make the seminar organizers rich, and they went broke. How many of you have heard of this kind of story before? Comment a Y or yes below. My objective is very simple, and David also wants you to understand this. The Video Hero system, there's not just the 3 days training. You've got to stay with David because he provides continuous training. It's very sad to say because when we sent out the note about this webinar last night, I personally saw on the WhatsApp chat, there are 3-4 people just left the group. So my question for these people would be, haven't they learned anything from Video Hero? Haven't they implemented anything? Chances are they have not done anything. This is my guess. Although this is my assumption, I have no verification on this, but I would just say that people who decide to leave Video Hero because one, they decide to go for another program because Video Hero is not the coolest program on the planet. It's very tough. Number two, it's time for me to embark on another venture, hoping that maybe the other course will help me. What you understand is that Blair, for example, said to me many times that when you learn something, you've got to master it. If you don't master it, you will lose the time, you will lose the money, and you will not be able to gain back. Oh, by the way, may I just have a quiz here? Money versus, let's phrase it, I put it again. Time, money. Have you heard of this phrase called time equals money? Comment below. Time equals money. This is a very cool phrase. Time equals money. Okay, I've seen yeses, yeses, yeses. Again, tonight, if you have heard a lot of my violation of what you have learned already, like clarity leads to power, I said clarity leads to action. Experience is not the best teacher. Experience is the only teacher. Now I'm going to give you the third one. Time is not money. Dude, wake up. Time is not money. Why? Let me explain. When you lose money, can you make it back? Better say yes, huh? Because if you don't know, then we have another conversation to talk about it. But when you lose your time, can you make back your time? So which is more important? Is time or money? You know the answer. I say again, when you lose money, can you make it back? Can you recover? Yes, thanks, Ivy. So Ivy say time. Yep. Because when you lose your time, you cannot rewind the clock and you cannot regain the time. So in my opinion, if you think time equals money, I would like you to think about it again. I want you to revisit what I've just said again. Time is actually more expensive than money. You lose money, you can gain it back. But if it is time, when you have spent the time, but you do nothing, you cannot ask for more time. My clock is winding. It's actually winding down every single day. So I'm not sure because I can't see your face. I don't profess that I'm the oldest person in this room, but I believe that I'm older than most of you. So I think I deserve to talk about the fact that I don't have a lot of time. You have seen me talking about life map in Video Hero process. Literally speaking, I have only 7 more years to go. If you don't know what I mean by 7, then I would like to invite you one day to come to Video Hero to see how I explain that, because I don't have the time tonight to do it. So understand one thing, you may think that you have a lot of time. The scary part of that is when I go through the formula, you really have not much time to go. That's the truth. At least it works for me. Okay, so what Blair has then talked about in terms of the gem, so we go back to what we have said at the beginning. G stands for goal, E stands for environment. What is M? M has actually 2 interpretations because it depends on how you see that. So what Blair said is this. Blair is a very, very big about the word. M stands for, let me just find the card here. Let me find the card I have written somewhere. So excuse me. So I'm looking for my card. Okay. This is the one. It can be methods. It can be mentors. It can be methods and mentors at the same time. And let me explain. You can actually look for a method that is proven. And all you need to do is just to follow the method to create the result you want. By the way, but who comes up with these proven methods? Of course, it's from the mentor. So when people say the last M can be mentors, can be methods, Blair actually said it can be both. Because the mentors have actually spent the time working out something that doesn't work, working out something that does work, and those that work then is being passed on to other people, the students, the mentees. So eventually what happens is this. You've got to have a proven method from somebody who have done this before. You're not going to waste your time. Like I said, time is more important than money. You're not going to figure out by yourself. This is very amazing because Blair loves this statement. So many people have so much time, they believe, to figure out things by themselves. And you know what? You don't know what you don't know. If you know how to solve the problem, you won't have that problem in the first place. Sounds illogical, right? But the fact is that it's true. If you don't know what you don't know, that's why you have this problem. Then how do you get the resources? How on earth are you able to solve the problem based on what you know? Understand? So at the end of the day, what happens is that when you are looking for a proven method from somebody who has done it before, who have experienced this before, who can tell you exactly what works, what doesn't work, that's how you are able to spend less time, becoming more proficient and efficient, and also that will help you accelerate your result much faster, easier. That's what I mean. So how many of you would love to have less time to spend and yet you have a proven result? Being proven result that is faster, easier, right? That makes sense, right? So again, the gem that David has gotten from Blair last night is all about having a clear goal, really know what you want in 2020. At the same time, have the environment to support you, just like the Video Hero community. And then have the methods, proven methods from the mentor who has done it, who has already figured out what works, what doesn't work. That's the gem that David has shared with us, with the team last night from Black. Okay, so then let me address some of the questions you guys have in terms of the survey. So once again, I thank all of you who have completed the survey. If you don't do this, I won't have this part to talk about. All right. So in the next couple of minutes, I would love to actually talk about how to deal with these questions. Is that okay if I can go ahead? Okay. So thank you. So number 1, commitment. So here I put the word commitment as the agreement. So my question to all of you is this. Are you a person who can keep agreements? Are you a person who can keep agreement? What do I mean by keep agreement? Do what you say. Because we always talk about this, but if you don't do it, nothing happens. Question, are you a person who is able to keep the agreement? Means that you do what you say. Are you always able to do that? Let's have a frank discussion here. If it's a no, it's all right. If it's a yes, awesome. If you say, I don't know, I'm okay with that. Or if you say sometimes, by all means, not always. Thank you for being truthful. Okay? So there are 3 definitions of commitment. Some of you may have heard this before, some of you have not. I'm happy to actually talk about the word commitment. Most people actually talk about commitment as do what I say I will do. Awesome. But what is the problem of this definition? The problem is very simple. You guys could be nice people and keep saying yeses. And the more yeses you say, the more guilt you might have. Why? Because on your agenda, on your plates, you have a lot of things to do already, and you still keep saying yeses. So one definition of commitment is to say no when you see yourself who cannot deliver. Nothing wrong with being not able to deliver something. Because when your plate is very, 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 very full, then it's okay to say no. And you choose to say, I do not commit. That's being kind to yourself and kind to another person. Because when you give false hope to another person, the other person hope that he is getting something from you, and in the end, you do not deliver. What is the relationship looks like, sounds like? When you violate the trust, the promise that you make to another person, it is very, very hard in business to redeem. And I say it one more time because in business is not about numbers only. Business is always, always, always about the relationship capital. Your relational capital defines the success. Maybe when you first start your business, you are struggling with the money, you are at survival stage. Yes, money is important. At a certain point in time, when you scale your business to the next level, relationship that you have will take over other factors. Because when you need help, understand one thing, when you need help, if your network has somebody who can support you, who can work with you, you leverage the other person's skill set, expertise, and perhaps time to help you do what you do, so that you don't need to do it by yourself. You can scale it by having joint venture. You can scale it, work with somebody by creating strategic alliances. How many of you consider yourself, so just give an example here. How many of you consider yourself a morning glory, or I call this an early bird person? How many of you are early bird? Why early bird? Because Uncle Jack is an early bird. Some of you who know me, you know, I don't respond to any message after 10:30. I won't even pick up a call after 10:30 unless it is like emergency or you have been framed that I need to, okay? So here's the thing. If you are morning glory, you have the opposite called the night owl. Owl, O-W-L, night owl. So if you have to work with clients who are night owls, the question for you is this: as a morning glory, would you want to work with the night owls? That's the problem. So what can you do? Are you going to say, I'm a morning glory, I don't work with the night owl, so stop coming to me, I don't want you? Or in your business, you can identify somebody who is a night owl, and you train that person to entertain these clients so that your business will generate the revenue, not because of you being morning glory, but because of your relationship, you train the other person who is a night owl to handle these customers. Does that make sense? So always understand one thing, you don't need to do everything by yourself. Most of you actually gave me your struggle. It's like, it seems to me one thing that is in common is that you have learned in school that every single thing you have to do it by yourself. If you think about it, if I have to be the one doing this by myself tonight, the webinar, when Vertex Mastery team is not there, when they didn't send out the form, when they didn't blast the copy, tonight will not happen. So just take one more step further. If David, who is now in Hua Hin, is the one doing the webinar tonight, yes, of course he can do it, but he can't, he's stuck there. He cannot even do this webinar. So that's why he leveraged me to help him to do that. So this is just a demonstration that you don't need to do anything by yourself. You have people around you. But how do you get somebody to work with you, not work for you, but work with you? Simple. Building the relationship, building the trust. Because you want to find or build a dream team, have people come and work for you. Are you a person with trust? Can people trust you? Can people actually see you as a man of word or honor? If you don't, then it's very hard for people to trust you, to work with you. David and I knew each other since he was 18 years old. He's 26 this year. So I personally have known David for 8 years. But it's only from 8th of October 2019, that's the magic day, because our company was incorporated officially in Malaysia. So we are then becoming officially business partners. So you see how long it takes for us to become business partners. So understand one thing, in your business, you've got to build relationship. You have to actually nurture, add values to other people first as a goal giver. So one thing you may want to read, I think I have a book here, which is a very, very good book, Goal Giver. It is a rap book, very easy to read. Read the book, Goal Giver, to understand what are the 5 laws about giving, giving, and giving. It's a very easy read. It won't take you more than 3 hours if you can read a book generally of 1 cm thick. This book is pretty powerful book. Okay, so go and read this. So what Blair then said is that, okay, so once you build your relationship, build your trust, then the next thing that I see here is that you do not know how to convert. So we have seen this thing called sell. How many of you do not like to sell? Honestly, how many of you do not like to sell? When it comes to sell, or people who are in selling, you are like, oh my God, come on, give me a break. Because these people are pushing me to buy something I don't want. These people are using foul language, which I don't like to hear, and this and that. But there's one thing that I need you to do, to realize. Blair said many, many times. In fact, David has asked Blair to do a video last night. I'm not sure whether David has, I mean, you have a chance to see the video that David has posted on his Facebook. He actually invited Blair to talk about a couple of things. So I'm just repeating what Blair says. Number 1, sales equals income. If you don't know how to sell, there's no money in your pocket. The problem is that the school never taught us how to sell. It was never taught us how to make money. So when you come out to do it, what happened? Because you have not been to any sales training, or your training is not complete, you are using your own method to figure out what works, what doesn't work. You use a method to handle objection and you make mistake. And notice one thing, when you make mistake, you may lose one opportunity to close the sale. Understand that you may have only one time opportunity to close the sale. You may be given just one opportunity. So one mistake, the sale is done, it's gone. Does that make sense? So then the next thing that Blair said is that, well, in order to learn how to sell, there's one thing that you've got to learn also. This is what David is learning currently in Hua Hin. That is, you are not the one selling all the time. You've got to teach, you have to have a team who can sell for you. Because how many of you would love to work on your business, not work in your business? Because by working in your business, you are trading time for money. If you have 24 hours, you will only have 24 hours. You have no more than 24 hours. But imagine you have other people, your team, to be able to sell. What happens is that now, instead of you selling alone, you've got other people to do it together with you. So that's called leverage of time. How many would love to have the team to help you how to sell? David has a team. I have my closing team. Okay? But then it's not enough. Even though you have a team to sell, you've got to teach your team how to sell. You've got to teach your team how to sell. This is the cool part. Not only you need to learn how to sell, you must have a team, and your job as a leader is to teach your team how to sell. That's what Blair does. Blair, in fact, has a course. I mean, I'm not sure whether you're aware. Currently, Blair is doing a course called Ultimate Personal Development Program in Hua Hin, Thailand, which is what David is going through. Blair is actually going to Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh City next month. From Phoenix, he lives in Phoenix. He's flying all the way to Ho Chi Minh City. So instead of us going to Phoenix to see him, Blair is going to Ho Chi Minh City next month to conduct a 2 days sales and leadership mastery. So this is a 2 days program. What he does basically is to help us understand how he sells. In fact, I don't know whether you have a chance to see what I posted today. If you are my Facebook friend, you may be aware that I posted something that Blair last year in May 2018 at Ho Chi Minh City, 500 people in the room, 500 people, 10 minutes, all together make 20 million US dollars. You don't believe, you shouldn't believe what I say. I've got a screenshot on my Facebook page. So you can see the screenshot because Blair talked about that. 20 million in 10 minutes by 500 people. Some people actually said that they have never seen such money before. Some of them said that 10 minutes is equivalent to 3 or 4 months of work. Some of them feel that finally they know what is the mechanics of how to sell, which they have not sold before or they are struggling. So this is one thing. And I believe that this Sales and Leadership Mastery is a very powerful program that if you want to consider like how do you actually become a better salesperson, a better version of yourself, become a better sales leader, then you may want to consider doing the program. And if you are interested, what I can say is that you can talk to the team. The team has some information about the current special offer of SLM Sales and Leadership Mastery in Ho Chi Minh City. I will be there next month because I'm the program director of the event. David's team is flying his team to Ho Chi Minh City to make sure everybody has gone through the process as well. So you will see a lot of us if you are there. Hope that I will see some of you around. You can see how I lead the team and how to run the event for Blair if you want to. All right. So the other thing that Blair talked about, like teach the team how to sell. Selling is about communication. Selling is about persuasion. So here's the one thing. If you find that it's very hard to ask for money, notice one thing. At the end of the day, when the prospect actually says yes to you, that's the ideal world. When your prospect has said yes to you, how does it make you feel? How does it make you feel? Do you feel awesome because the prospect say yes to you and you close the sale? But how does this happen? Because somehow you've got this persuasive power. Your persuasion skill is there. If you think that you cannot persuade people, so I'm asking for those who are married, have you not persuaded your spouse to marry you? If you are a parent, have you not persuaded your spouse to have children together? And if you are an employee working for an organization, have you not successfully persuaded your boss to hire you? So you all have persuasion skill. The question is that you may not realize how powerful this skill can be and how much more you can learn. That's the key. So at the end of the day, when you realize that selling is, the word may be very hard to accept, but selling is just a form of communication. It's a form of persuasion. And you have been doing this every single day. And the fact that the team manages to ask you to show up in this webinar, ask some of you to fill up the questionnaire, ask you to commit to showing up, the team has managed to persuade you to be here. And then you may have other things to do tonight, but you choose to be here. You manage to persuade yourself to be here tonight as well. So not only the team has closed you to be here, you have closed yourself to be here as well. So give you a big round of applause, because that is what we mean by persuasion skills. So every single one of you in this room somehow has been sold or has sold by yourself. So you all know how to sell. The question is that whenever you talk to someone, strangers, like the introverts may have challenges, difficulties talking to strangers. You don't know what to say. When you open your mouth, you suddenly have this, what we call the mind block. Then you kill the whole conversation. Or at some point in time when you're about to deliver the price, the most sensitive word price, and suddenly your mind say, I don't know whether he will accept this. I don't know whether he will say it is expensive or not. And guess what, in sales, if you are doing sales, you probably know this drill. That is to say, you would have what we call the mind freak. And then what happens is that the mind freak actually suggests something. And when they suggest something like, okay, I do not know whether he will give me this objection, guess what happened? The objection will come. The objection will come. It's very amazing when people in the room said that you've got to handle the objection. Okay? You don't know how to handle objection. Number one reason why we have to handle objection is that in your mind, you already think of the objection. That's why it shows up. Okay? That's why it shows up. Okay? So I want to acknowledge a question privately sent to me. The question is that will you get the recording? Anyway, The next part is actually my stuff. The next part is my stuff. What I've gotten for David is already done, the GM. So let's just revisit what we have done, which is the tip of the decade. The G stand for your clarity of your goal. You must have very, very clear goal. E stand for environment. M is the method is a proven method from the mentor that helps you shorten your learning curve, speed it up, less time, and create the result faster, easier. So actually, this is the tip of the decade. You will not miss anything from now on. All right. So then the last thing that would like to talk about is this thing called team. So how do you build a team? How are you able to build a team? Some of you want to scale business. Some of you want to have people join you. The funny thing about the team is that you can't just hire anyone. I always believe one thing: you hire based on the attitude, not hire based on skill. Skill can always be trained. I mean, some of you may have heard this before. If you have heard of this before, comment a yes below so that I know that you have heard of this before. Skill is actually trainable. Everybody can train. The question is that attitude, in my opinion. I have never seen a successful case. Thank you for commenting. So I've never seen any cases in my life whereby attitudes can be trained. Attitudes may be changed, but cannot be trained. I don't know how to train. If you do know, please teach me how to train attitude. Okay, so that's the same. Now the question is that when you build a team, how do you actually get people to come on board? Number one is that what is the team culture? Team culture is a very big word. So let me explain what is the culture that I'm talking about. Number one, what is the value? What's the core value of your team? What's your core value of your team? But Uncle Jack, I still don't understand what you're talking about. What is core value of the team? Yes, so the process that you build the team, first of all, before you know the core value of your team, you've got to know your own core value. Question: does any one of you in this room do something called value alignment every year? And by the way, if you don't understand value alignment, it means that do you do any alignment? Do you actually rank your values every single year so that you know what is important to you, what's not important to you? I bet that most people have not done it. Most people have not even heard of that term, value alignment. And the reason why some of you are struggling with building a team is because, number one, in order to build a team successfully, you've got to be absolutely clear your own core value. If you don't, you can't attract people who will join you. I've been through the process. I asked Blair many, many years ago, Blair, I really, really want to build a team, but I don't know how to attract people who will come to me. Blair just say one thing: know yourself first. I say, Blair, can you please elaborate? I don't understand what you're talking about. Blair says, if you don't know what you stand for, how can you attract people who are like you, who will be willing to buy your vision to join you? So funny thing is that the moment I started doing my own value alignment exercise, the first team member show up, the second show up. It's just amazing that when I'm getting very clear with my value. My closing team currently has 17 people working with me. You may ask, like, how on earth I have 17 people working on my closing team? Because the team value is my own value. And people buy me by my value. That's how I personally build a team of closers with 17 people on board. That's how magic it is. So the question is that if you now know your core value, you can declare to the whole world, this is who I'm looking for. And therefore, I'm looking for this. And you know what? The universe, if you believe universe or whichever religion that you believe, will help you find the person, and the person will show up in your life. And then all you need to do is to close the person, to ask the person why you should join my team and what you can get by joining my team. So your job is to actually sell your vision to that person, or the person will sell him to you why he should join your team. So it's a cross-sell to each other, and that's how a team is built. How many of you find this useful? It's no magic science behind it. It sounds very simple to say, but if you don't understand your core value, so let me just give you some examples. What are core values? Core values are what are your drivers? What drives you every single day to do what you do? Okay, so if you agree, some of these common value So common value could be number one, being honest. Some of you may even use the word integrity. Okay, some of you may even use the word integrity. Some of you may have the value called contribution. Some of you may have the value called family. So these are the value that drives you to do what you do every single day. So the question is this, are these values helping you, or are these values not helping you? And let me explain what it means, what I mean by that. There are values that are helping you because the rules that you apply are supporting you. There are values which seems to be useful to you, but because the rules that you apply are not supporting you. So the classic example is that if one of the value is success. So how do you define success? Success means to most people, I make my $1 million, I'm successful. Awesome. But if you are not making your $1 million, are you then not a successful person? Because by logic, that would be the case. I'm stuck. I'm not successful because I have not made my $1 million. So how would you define success? Would success be something like, as long as I move my goals, as long as I take action every single day to move towards my goal, and I do not give up, I continue taking action, I'm on my path of success journey. So success is not a goal. Success is a process. Would that help? So you can still be successful and can be even more successful as you continue taking more action. That's an example. How about failure? If failure is something that you want to avoid, the question is that what does failure mean? Or failure means I cannot achieve my success. Now you see the sabotage thing that happens. I'm not successful because I have not made my $1 million. And that's why I'm a failure. You see, the rules that can be applied in this case simply can sabotage the person. It means that while so long as I have not made $1 million, I'm not successful. In fact, I'm a failure. It sounds insane, but a lot of people are living the life that way. I'm not sure whether you come across with that. I work with a lot of people who are hopeless, what we call hopeless, worthless, and they literally don't know what they do in life. So that is a very amazing thing I found out. So what if you can define success as continuing the journey every single day? That is successful. And failure is something when you just decide to throw the white towel, you decide to give up. So long as you continue taking action, you are not a failure. In fact, you are a successful person. You see, by switching the definition, the rules applicable to success and failure, you can have a profound effect. So value alignment is not just to identify the values. It also has something to do with what are the rules that you have used to apply to yourself. Are these rules supporting you, or are these rules sabotaging you? That's the key. So the value alignment exercise is a very important aspect of the personal development that I personally learned from Blair. Okay, so Blair says that when you've got your own core values sought out, then you can start attracting people to join you, because they then see the vision that you have set for yourself. They want to be a part of it because they want to build a community with like-minded people, which is the reason why Video Hero is set up in such a way that we want to build this community. We want this community to have you guys to come back, because in Video Hero, we have got something called return grads receipt. You can actually receipt Video Hero. I mean, of course, the current challenge is that we do primarily Video Hero in KL, but here is one thing that you may want to take note. Next year, we are coming back to Singapore. I don't know which exact day, but we are back to Singapore. After we have been Ange is very happy because she's from Singapore. Yes, we are back to Singapore. So what we are doing right now is that on day 2 of our Video Hero, when David is doing his stuff in day 2, I am doing a mastermind with the return grads. So we have started this initiative in September, and in fact August as well. I mean August, September is the one whereby I am doing day 2 for the grad. We do a mastermind session, 15 people. So if you are in KL, you know that there's a Video Hero coming in 2 weeks' time. Day 2 is a graduate gathering day, where 15 people, because we said 15 only, I cannot handle more than 15. And then we sit down, you have the question, you just fire to me When I know the answer, I'll give it to you. If this is David's specialism, I'll let David answer. So this is what we have been doing in September, and we are going to do it again in November. And in future, the graduates gathering will happen on day 2. So if you are Video Hero graduates, congratulations. Now you know why you should come back. And we want to celebrate you, especially those who have made money after the program, who have continuously taken action. I want you guys to come back as the veterans, brothers and sisters, to help inspire those people who are under the day 2 and day 3, inspire them to take action to achieve the success that you have achieved for yourself. So that's how we want to grow our community. So what graduates understand, we want you to come back on day 2, and there's a private time with me, okay? And then we have got something, and also realize one thing about this Video Hero journey, because we said the environment is so important, and we noticed one thing that is actually happening. It's like when you have done your 3 days, what happens is that awesome. Well, it's like 3 days, you're so recharged, you're so energized, and you have achieved the result you want. But when you go back to your real world, you are faced by all this environment. We call it environmental issue. So started in July this year in KL, I have come up with something called Video Hero Accountability Program. I call it VHAP, VHAP, or in short, we call it VHAP. So VHAP is just a mechanism that allows people who have finished the Video Hero, okay, to continue being supported by me personally for 1 whole year. And what happened is that I am the kick-ass person to help you monitor what you say you will do. VHAP, VHAP. So if you are not sure what it means, you can actually get the team. The team will help explain this later on, no problem. So the VHAP basically is accountability program for 1 year, 1 whole freaking year. And these guys have to submit the weekly spreadsheet to Uncle Jack, and they have to say what they are supposed to do in the following week. And 1 week later, they are supposed to tell me they have done the work. If they have said that they are doing the work, but they did not do the work, there will be a financial penalty imposed. There will be a skin in the game to be imposed. There's a skin in the game and also a financial penalty. At the end of the day, the cool part of this program is that you have to invest a little bit because we believe skin in the game. But if you truly believe that you can do everything and you honor your word, you deliver every single piece of action that you said you would do, your investment is returned to you 1 year later. So if you invest $5,000, we'll refund you $5,000 at the end of the year. We don't ask any question. So that's the cool part. It's like, if you really do what you have supposed to do, there's actually no cost to you after 1 year. But then the benefit of that is that you are able to work on all the action steps that you're supposed to, that drives you to or lead you to the results that you want. So if you are interested, VHAP is something that we started this journey with some graduates in July. In September, currently, I'm working with 13 people from July batch and September batch together, and we got very amazing, very interesting result. In fact, some of the testimonials, if you want to get some testimonials, the team might be able to send you a few testimonials that we have gotten from the existing people under the VHAP program. Okay, so you see that the environments that we have set is not just for that 3 days. The environments that we set is actually for 1 year. And if you want to follow this path for 1 year, after 1 year, I mean the VHAP program, you can actually do it once a year so that you are continuing being held accountable. And I don't give a damn of what you think you would do, because I only look at your result. I only look at your actions. If you say you do X, Y, Z, all I'm here for you, all I'm here is to make sure that you do X, Y, Z, or else there will be consequences. That's all this program is about. So we found that we have come up with a lot of support, a lot of system that we decided to build. And this program, so for those who have not been through Video Hero program before, and November is actually the last Video Hero we have in 2019. Yes, it's going to be the last one for 2019. What happened is that, I mean, the team actually told me that there are still few more seats available. Jake, how many seats do we have? By the way, I was told that it's like 6 or 7. 6 or 7. So there are still 6 or 7. But you know what? We have already full. We are full already. but the team said that we can still squeeze a little bit, make people sit closer, have more intimacy. So because it's our last one of 2019, we want to finish a bit strong. So therefore, we want to get a few more people. So if you are able to come, we'd like to actually talk to the team and find out exactly what happened. So if you want to find out the dates for Video Hero Singapore, Video Hero Malaysia, KL, you can talk to the team and the team will be there to support you, okay? So I'll let Jake and Arthur to handle that. All right, so I have just 10 more minutes. We have started 7:30. I promise you it's 90 minutes, so I will not hold you back. I honor my words. I have 9 minutes. At this moment, is there any person who has question for me, who has things that you want to ask? First come, first serve. At 9 o'clock, I will stop the webinar. Anyone who wants to ask question or have any things that you want to say, feel free to unmute yourself. So by the way, the recording, once again, the recording, I have no intention to release the recording, because if I release the recording, what happens is that you guys tonight, when you show up, becomes a waste. Because in your mind, you may say, hey, you know what? I can actually watch the recording. I don't need to be here tonight. So there won't be any recording to be released. That's it. Okay. So Ivy has a question. Can you share how the ranking of the value looks like? So my personal values, for example, if you want to listen, I mean, this is mine. Please do not copy mine, because yours and mine are different, okay? So my number one remains integrity, okay? I am a person who believes integrity all the time. So when I say I will do something, I will make it happen. So when David asked me to do a webinar, and I said I will do it, I'll make it happen tonight, okay? So what's integrity? What does integrity mean to me? So for integrity, I would like to type the word, because I may not pronounce the word properly because it is audio. So integrity for me is defined as wholeness. So on the chat, you see the word wholeness. What does wholeness mean? Wholeness means that when I see a crack, when I see something that is not working, when I see somebody is falling short of the standard, my job is to go there to seal the crack. Not fill the gap, but seal the crack, so that the circle becomes a circle. There's no crack in between. So that is my definition of integrity. That's number one. Number two, this is something that I have been doing recently. This is something that, because of my age, it shows up this legacy. Is that I'm not here asking you for money today. This webinar, I'm doing it based on my own time. You know what? Did I sell you anything? I didn't sell. I'm just passing message on behalf of David. That's how I started this webinar. I actually didn't make any offers, so to speak. All I'm saying is that, well, I do this because I want to help David. I want to help David to pass the message. It's like I have a lot of messages I need to pass to my mentees. So that's my own thing. I'm not saying anything about Video Hero here. So I have a lot of messages that I need to pass to my mentees who are studying under me, who want me to help them become a better version of themselves. So therefore, I create my legacy move so that at the end of the day, they can do what they have to do to help other people. So I have been a speaker's trainer for 20 years. Actually, it's a very sickening job right now. I don't really treasure or enjoy training, but I love to actually train other people, because so many people come to me and say that, Uncle Jack, can you teach me how to become a speaker, a trainer, to teach me how to be able to sell on stage, to collect money on stage? That's why I'm doing what I'm doing in Speaker Hero. So that's a program that I created last year, Speaker Hero, is to teach people how to do that, to be able to present on stage, to be able to tell the story, and at the end, most important thing is to make an offer so that people will go to the back or go to the front or go to the side to buy the program. So that's what I do. So legacy is very important. The next thing, yes, I'm getting more and more conscious about this word. The word family is no longer, it used to be like very low. As I'm a person, when I was young, I'm actually looking at do, what, result. But recently I found out that my boy is 19 years old. So Uncle Jack's boy is 19 years old. He's about to get, I won't say he's about to get married, it may not be the right word to use, but all I'm saying is that, well, one fine day he might say that I found my girl, dream girl, I want to have a new life. And suddenly my family has, the boy will live his own life, and my girls are growing growing every single day. My girls 14 and 13, so I spend time with them. And therefore, what I did last Saturday when I was in Singapore, like I spent a lot of Saturdays or weekends in Kuala Lumpur recently. Some of you know, like in this month, I happened to be in Singapore for half of the month. So last Saturday, my boy, my girl, and I went for karaoke session. And this Saturday, because I'm still in Singapore, I'm going to spend another night with them, family karaoke time, to actually sing karaoke. And my girl and I can sing duet. That's cool, right? Me and my girl sing duet. That's how we do family. Last night, my wife, my two girls, my mother-in-law went out for family dinner. So I treasure time of family a lot nowadays. So these are my top three. If you want one more, I can give you one more. Learning. What does learning mean? Learning means I believe one thing, that is always a lifelong learning journey. Although I have learned a lot in the past, yet at the same time, I have implemented a lot. So nowadays, when I invest in a program, I always ask myself two questions. I do not know whether you have heard me saying before. When I invest a program, I always ask two questions. Number one, am I able to recover the investment? If I say no, that means I would not invest, period. Because what's the point of investing a program where I don't see myself being able to do it and make back my money? That doesn't make sense. Thank you. So we have seen Chong has already said family time is important. Thank you very much. And then the second question I ask is that now that the answer to the first question is yes, question number two, how fast can I recover? How fast can I recover? That's the key. So how fast do I see myself to be able to recover the amount? So I'm happy to share with most of you. I don't mind share this with you. Last Thursday, I've invested a 25,000 US dollars program. I've invested a 25,000 US dollars program, and it's real story. There was a time when I was closed for a 25,000 program, and I was so happy, so thankful that I'm in the program. Crazy, right? But that is the feeling that you want as a closer, as a salesperson to be. Because when you close somebody, the other person actually say, thank you for closing me, to help me to do this. That's the idea of closing. If you have this feeling, you are a good closer. Okay, so coming back to my story. So I spent 25,000. So immediately my question number one is that, do I see myself making back the money? Yes, of course. Number two, how fast can I get it back? I'm targeting to get back based on the skill set that I'm going to learn in the program. Within 1 year, I will get back my 25K for using that skill set, not other businesses. Of course, I have other businesses can plow money for me to pay off the 25. It's not a problem. But what I'm saying is that I do not want to use my own money to invest. Even though I have the money, I don't want to use my money to invest. I'm always asking for, where can I get from other people? You have to have this mindset. Where can you ask other people to fund your purchase? So I said, okay, let me be resourceful. Let me find out who I need to talk to in order to close, in order to sell, in order to create the money that I need to fund the program. So within 1 day, what happened is that I've already got 1,000 off. So 25,000, 1,000 is taken off already. And we talk about 25,000 US dollars, not 25,000 ringgit or Sing dollars. It's like that. So when you're resourceful, you will know how to get there, how you're able to talk to people, how you're able to strategize so that you can achieve what you want. So that's what I keep saying, that your goals must be very clear. How do you see yourself in 1 year's time? What are you planning to do? What action step you have to, what you have to take? And what resources do you need? All right, so this becomes very, very, very important. All right, so that's what I really, really want. Okay, so at the end of the day, I really want to thank all of you to be here. I know it's 9 o'clock, so I promise you I'll end the recording, I'll end the session. And once again, if you have any questions about the programs that I mentioned, the team will be here to support you. So once again, on behalf of David, Vertex Mastery, thank you very much for being here, staying with me for 1.5 hours. All the best with your future in the force. And I look forward to seeing some of you in Video Heroes in November in Kuala Lumpur. Potentially, if not, that will be in Singapore next year. All right? Good night, everybody. Jack Wang here on behalf of David and Vertex Mastery. Signing off now. All good wishes.